Okay, this is just a very brief instructional video to show you how you can use a reference manager and incorporate that into um, your arsenal of tools um, when you are writing assignments or reports or whatnot. So, um, the tool I'm going to be using is Juris-m, and that's a derivative of the open source program Zotero. Um, and I will show you what I mean by that in just a second. So the first thing you're going to want to do, if you don't have it already, is go and get Juris-m. So I already have this tallied up on the screen. The reason I have the Zotero website here is because this is the um, program from which Juris-m, which is over here, is derived. This is just like a different version of it that's tailored to more legal needs. Um, and the reason I have this page up is because I think before you do anything, it's a good thing to go ahead and make an account here. As you can see, my information's already there. And you get, I believe it's 300 megabytes of storage for free with them. So that's definitely something to take advantage of. This here is what my Zotero library looks like, or my Juris-m library, and this is sort of mirrors what the desktop application is like. So going back here to Juris-m, this here is the address. And to install this on your computer, you're going to want to click here where it says click here, and you click right here. That'll download, and you just do the usual process of going into your downloads folder, wherever you have your downloads set to go. Click on the executable file, run that, it'll install, and that should all work out lovely. Before you leave this page, you're also going to want to hit here, which is the Chrome installer. Now, if you have Firefox, there's the Firefox installer. If you both, you can do both. Personally, I really only use Chrome, so I would only install this. When you click install, it's going to go here to the Chrome Web Store. And I already have it installed, so it doesn't say install, but it should say install, or something along the lines like add to Chrome or install or something like that. So you're just going to want to do that as well. So following on from that, then when you have your Juris-m installed, it'll most likely be in your start menu. So if you can't find it, you can click right here, go to J, and it's Juris-m standalone right there. So I already have it opened up. So this here is what the interface looks like. It's a fairly light program to run. As you can see here, there's my library. This is all of my references that I've used. And I haven't used all of them, but it is a good place to put anything that you've considered or that you might potentially be researching. You might not use it in the final project. You can have folders here. So I believe it's a good idea to make a folder for whatever topic or assignment or essay it is that you're doing. So for the purposes of this video, I am going to go ahead and make a new folder, and I'm just going to call it test. So as you can see now, it's just a blank folder. So that's what I would do first. Now actually, just to note, you will want to go to your preferences, which is under edit, go to your site, word processors, and here you can see the Microsoft Word add-in. I don't know why it says it's not installed, because it is, but you're going to want to go ahead and install that. If you don't use Microsoft Word and you use LibreOffice, which is an open source program on Linux, you can go ahead and do that one. Also, what you're going to want to do is download the styles. So referencing styles being some of the more common ones are Harvard or MLA or APA. But in Ireland, for Irish law, we use Oscola. So I already have it added here, as you can see. But if you want to add it yourself, this is the more updated one, you can see the dates. It gives you two options. You can have Oscola, which incorporates an IBID into it, which basically if you repeat a citation, it just says IBID underneath it instead of repeating the whole citation. Or you can include to omit the IBID. That's just a personal preference. It's not really important. If Oscola isn't on there, you go to the Get Additional Styles, type in Oscola, and they're there, and it gives you a preview of what it's going to look like. So go ahead, click on that and add that. And University of York Oscola is now on the list. So also in the preferences pane here, there is the sync option. Now what you're going to want to do is once you've made your online account with the Zotero website, you can go ahead and input your information here, link those up, because if you happen to get another computer, or if you have maybe a desktop and a laptop, you can retrieve all of your information and have the library basically set up again without you having to do anything. It just sort of syncs across, and that's a benefit of having that account. Now, as I mentioned already, I believe it comes with about 300 megabytes of storage for free with it. So here I have file syncing turned off, and that's because a lot of the time Zotero or Juris-m, when you download a citation, the program is really working hard, so it actually downloads the PDF file for you as well. But a lot of times I'll have the file downloaded, or I won't think about it, or I won't remember that it downloaded, and your storage gets filled up pretty quickly with that. So you can leave that turned on if you don't use this a whole lot, but it only got full up after about 2 years of me using it, and I consume PDFs like they're going out of style. And here's the setting for that, and you can turn these on, off. You can keep all these clicked so that they're operating. Okay, and click OK. So I've literally went on to Bailey and Googled, or well, I just went in and looked for the most recent decisions of the Supreme Court of Ireland, and here is a decision of the 22nd of January 2020, and it just so happens it's about dispute resolution. So in an effort to try and legitimize this video, I skimmed through a couple of paragraphs, and here I have just a short passage listed. So what you're going to want to do here is, perhaps you can see it's just an empty page, you want to put in your reference. So for example, after a case, I usually put in the reference directly after it. That's just my preference. I believe it can be at the end of the sentence either, and in Oscola we use footnotes. So to do that, what you're going to do is when you are on Bailey, and this is just one example of a site you can be on, but if you are on Bailey and this is the court decision that you wanted to cite, the extension that you added has turned to little scales, justice scales. So for certain websites Zotero is automatically configured, so it pulls the information from that website, so you really don't have to do anything. And certain websites have been configured specifically so it pulls all the necessary information, and Bailey luckily happens to be one of those. So instead of you copying this or copy pasting it, whatever you would normally do, you can just click on this here, which says save to Juris-m, and in parentheses there, Bailey. So go ahead, if you click that, you can see it's gone to the test folder. Now if you wanted to change that, you could, but we're going to leave it as test, and you can see it's after downloading a transcript of that. So that's after pulling the information into the application here on the desktop. And as you can see, here it is. It's after adding all of this information for me. We didn't have to do that. The web address is on there. And as you can see here, it has a transcript, and that's basically the web page. So to cite this, then what you would do is when you go back into Microsoft Word, you will now notice that you have a new tab up here. So your tabs here you'll be fairly familiar with, but now you're going to have one called Zotero. These other tabs are other software that I have installed. So if you click on the Zotero tab, you're now going to see an option to add or edit a citation, add or edit a bibliography. There's going to be document preferences, a refresh, and an on link. Your document preferences is, again, just your style information. I already have mine set to Oscola, but sometimes when you use, if you're opening a document for the first time, it might pop up and ask you, so it's just going to look like the same screen that we had before. And as you can see here, I have it set for Oscola, and you just want to confirm that. So when you're adding a citation, here for example, you would go ahead and click add or edit, and this search box is coming up now. The search box really is great because it allows you, if you don't remember the name of a specific source that you're citing, you can sort of type in what you think it is, and it might show up. So we are citing Dunn Stores versus McCann, so Dunn, and there it is. If I go back a few characters, you'll see all of the various different documents that are possibilities that I have cited in the past. Tap on that. So from here, what you're going to do is press enter on your keyboard, or another option that you can do is, for example, let's just go to the concluding paragraph. So let's just say paragraph 73, apologies to Justice Dunn. I haven't read the entire decision, so this may not be entirely accurate. To pinpoint that paragraph in the judgment, we're just going to hypothetically say that we're quoting from whatever paragraph that was, 73. There's your box. You can click this citation here, and here it gives you some options. So you have page, and if you click that, you're going to see all of these various different options. We're going to say paragraph. And if you want to add in your own style, so I believe this just kind of it puts I think it's just the number or maybe a P in the number after it, but if for example you wanted it to say instead at paragraph, literally you can put that in where the suffix is. Suffix just meaning it's at the end of the citation, prefix meaning it's at the beginning of the citation. So paragraph 73, and you're going to hit enter and hit enter again. So what that's after doing is adding a footnote for you here. If you hover over it, you'll see that information, but it's also after adding it here. Now, let's say that I have a journal that I wanted to cite instead, or I wanted to add some academic commentary. What I'm going to do for that is you can go to whatever source you would normally go to. For ease of access, I personally create a folder here in my bookmarks bar, and the way you do that is just right click and or left click rather, and here you can add folder, whatever you want, but I have a folder here just with the various databases in it, so you don't have to go through the library's website. So I'm just going to go to Hein because I can. Hit login. And here you go, here is Hein. So since that case was about dispute resolution, I'm just going to look for dispute resolution and see what comes up. Okay, that's doing its thing. And this here is an article, it's from 1995. Pretorius, hope I'm saying that right, is the author. So I'm going to click on that one. No idea if this is of any relevance whatsoever to the topic even. That, and for some reason there's a lot of, oh, so it's in German. Let's say that I was very fluent in written and spoken German and was going to cite this article. That's hilarious. Instead of having to copy all of the information down like you normally would, you have a couple of options. This website happens to have a cite button, so you can click that if you want to. And what you would do here is export the RIS file, click on it, and it will open up here in Juris-m. Thankfully we don't have to do that, because the extension over here, you might recall it was a scales, it's now turned like a sheet of paper. And these symbols just mean that the scales might be a case, piece of paper, it's a journal article or a report. So go ahead and click this here, you can see it's saving to the test folder, and here you see it's after downloading a full text PDF also. So it tried to identify that, but it couldn't find the DOI information, which is fine. So here is all of your reference information. You can add information there as you see fit. And as you can see here, this is what I was talking about with regard to the automatic downloading of the document. So that I already downloaded the PDF and it's in here for you. Double click on that and you can open it and see it in whichever PDF reader you use. So this is page 379. So let's say we want to cite this for some reason. So let's imagine that I say I think that's how you spell it. So we're going to say whatever argument we have here. Hit add or edit, and you've got your box again. Dispute. Here is the information. we know it started at page 379 of that journal, but let's say you were 2 pages in, so it was 371. You can put 371. And let's say you wanted to be even more precise and it was spread over 2 pages. Go 375 and hit enter there. Again, you don't have to put the page. And as you can see, that's after inputting all of your information here. It already knows that it's at 379, so this wouldn't make sense actually, but you get the point. So that is citing with a reference manager. Again, the really handy thing about this is always here. It's never going to go away, and you have a record of all of the things that you've cited. You have the sources for them if you need to go back to them. When it comes to finalizing your document, if you want to make some changes to a citation, you just click it or highlight it and hit add or edit. And it'll bring this up, and then you can change it as you will. But let's say you want to put in your bibliography at the end if you want one. So what you'll do for that is you go to add edit your bibliography. And as you can see here, it's after adding these 2 entries. You can note that it has automatically applied the style for the Oscola referencing system. So last name, first initial, comma, title of the article, the year, the publication, and the page number is in there already for you. And again, with the court decision here, it's after italicizing this for you and has this laid out in the correct fashion. So if you want, you can unlink the citations, which basically just turns these into just text, but you can't edit it anymore. It's just text there on the page. Right now it's sort of still linked to Juris-m, so that you can make changes if you want to. But if you want this where it's just the same as any old text, you hit your unlink and it'll ask you to confirm that. So we'll hit unlink here. And you want to hit OK. And there you go, and you're free to edit that as you will. So, just to build on what we were looking at there, this here is this Google Scholar button. Now you can find that in the Chrome Web Store. The same process by which you would have added the Zotero Juris-m extension. So this is another great tool for finding articles. So we're just going to put in dispute resolution. Click enter. It's after bringing up 3 results, but let's say we want more. You hit this button here and you can put in whatever criteria you want, etc., etc. It's over 10 pages of results. And what you can do here again is, so this one that I've clicked on happens to be in Hein. Okay, so we've already gone on to Hein, and we know that that automatically recognizes it. If you see this here where it's asking you to log in, you can just go ahead and click that, and since I already logged in through my library, if I want to, I can just put in the library's name here, and I should be able to click that and log in that way, or just, we already have a tab open, so we can do that. So I'm going to go back here. But if this did go to a site that wasn't sort of identified here, as you can see here, it recognizes it's Google Scholar. But if you were redirected to a site that it didn't recognize, you would just sort of have this blue sheet which knows it's a web page, and if you try to import that, it will import. It'll bring in the web address the day you accessed it. But if that is the case, you can easily cite it from this page itself. So if, for example, this wasn't Hein and it wasn't recognized, you could still go and have it imported by clicking the extension button, but it might not import all of the information about the PDF, just about the web page. But these little inverted commas here allow you to cite the article. So if you click this, it's going to bring up various different styles. But where you see RefMan stands for Reference Manager, you can click on that, and as you can see, it's after recognizing that, and that is now in here with all of the respective information. Although it does look like it's missing a journal publication. So you can fill that in separately if you want to. Okay, so that was a quick rundown of using a reference manager to help in your research. As I've shown there, the benefit of this is obviously you have all of your references stored. Again, going back through my university education, this year is for one module, and all of my other modules that I may have used it for are here. When adding statutes manually, you can add them here, choose what you want. And there is one other really cool feature about Juris-m and Zotero, and that is the ability to import from existing documents, or even if you don't have the document on your computer, you just have a physical book and you don't want to go typing in all of this information. What you can do is, and I have a book preloaded, one I prepared earlier. So, for example, if you want to use this book, and maybe you can't find it online, whatever, and I use this all the time, you can see here the ISBN is usually a couple pages in. I usually use the ISBN that's just for the regular physical book. You know, there's an ISBN and an ISBN with an ebook in parentheses. Again, I usually use just the regular ISBN, and you can copy that. Go back here to your Juris-m, and here's a little wand. So you can see here this says ISBNs, DOIs, PMIDs, or any other IDs. So we have the ISBN, that's what I just copied, and we're just going to see if this works. Press enter. And as you can see here, it's after searching that ISBN online for you. It's after finding that information and downloading it for you, and then you can go ahead back into your reference manager. So yeah, that was just a very brief introduction to using a reference manager. Personally, it really enables me to create pretty good quality, well-researched papers, because I'm able to, for example, I'm just after seeing an article and I want to cite it. I want to cite it then and there because I'll forget to put it back in or whatever. So I'm able to literally click a button, it's imported for me, and then I can insert the citation right there. So this really has been very, very helpful. So best of luck with everything, and I do hope that this was somewhat informative and helpful towards your future assignments. Okay.